La 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 la. Hello, everyone. How is going? I'll have music up here in just a second. Just go starting for now. How's that? It exists. Ba-da-da. I need to get on top of bots again on Twitch. It's just sitting in my chat doing nothing. Alright. So, as one to do. Oh, so much better. Oh my gosh, live search. I can spell, not dyslexic in the slightest. All right. Oh, that's the. Yeah, just do that. Okay. So, as we are to do on our live research sessions, is basically we'll pick a thing, or we'll be asked in the community, what is the chat? There we go. Questions, and if I don't know it, I'll go and then find the answer live on Twitch or YouTube, depending on where you're watching from, or even a replay on YouTube, because that's what we do here. Everything looks to be going quite well. Yeah. All right. So, we're not going to get stuck on one topic like we did last week. Though, I think we will start today off with apparently my screen flickering. We will start today off going back through the original Kickstarter for the game. So, all the way back when. And we'll read through basically how everything went down. Because I know personally, I have gotten it wrong in the past on how everything went down. Because I heard, and so I then reiterated, that Star Citizen was never supposed to exist. And it was specifically, the Kickstarter was specifically for Squadron 42, and they got too much money. So we're going to go, and we're going to use the Wayback Machine as well. No, that one. There we go. So we're going to take that. We're going to take this. And we will... We're going to pick our very first October 19th. So the earliest possible version of this website is what we're going to aim for. And we're going to see what it originally looked like. Okay, so one of the things that I get wrong right off the bat, the opening page is still Star Citizen. So that didn't change. I do kind of miss that logo. So we're gonna read through this, and we're gonna kind of compare it to what it looks like now. Again, Kickstarter, good. Mic is getting blown out. Oh, thank you. Why is it getting blown out? It's always something, right? There we go. I should be able to hear me, but I can't. Hello, me. I don't hear me. I started a podcast someday. Well, pay to like Macton. I'm currently working on fixing audio issues. I'm trying. I'm trying here, guys. I turned that on. That's really loud. Oh, that's super loud. We're just gonna try and turn that down for a moment. See, coming out my DAC, it sounds so good though. Yes, always improving. Filters. See, I just need to hear what I'm outputting, and then we can go from there. Okay, so we're gonna pause the music here. So that I can mute the desktop so that I can open the stream. What's this one? Well, how rude. I don't show up on my own thing. Well, that's rude. All right. There we go. You sound a lot better. Okay. Just as I opened it up, it's fine. It still does sound like I'm blowing out the like top end gain a bit. Put that forward a bit. I am not an audio engineer. I'm very enjoying. I just need to hear myself live. And it's not doing that, and I need to hear it. So every time I say a sentence, I need to wait a second for it to come back. Why is it not letting me monitor it? I wonder if it's settings, audio, and the monitor. No, the monitoring device is correct. Hello? No, I just changed it. Monitor and output. Settings, audio. Auxiliary audio, advanced. That should be, yeah, that should be what's going to output. Yeah, there's just nothing here, and no reason why it shouldn't be outputting. Now it works. Got it. Okay. So now I can play around with these. And if I do that, what does the ratio do? What does that even do? It doesn't sound different. That makes it a lot worse. But this doesn't make it sound any different. Hello? This is me peeking out the mic. This is still me peeking out the mic. This is me without compressor. It doesn't change much. Oh, thank you for following Mecton _SC. Like, it does get rid of some back noise. Hello? Hello again? Oh, that's just completely off. Hello? Hello? Okay, so that's very strange. We're gonna get that on. Gonna make sure the limiter's down a little bit more, and then I want to change this. Expand that a whole ton. In fact, we might just bring that down. Also, how's that? That is a lot better. Let's see here. Oh, I've stopped talking again. It's fine. Sounding tinny? Oh, it's tinny now? It sounds great to me on this end. I will find the thing again. Filters, that's the one it is. Okay, so we're gonna roll off that. and roll up these. How is this? How does my voice sound now in the I'm hearing myself now double, like 2 seconds behind. There you go. Sweet. Okay. It is always a work in progress. I really need to do like a day of I can still hear me and I hate it. There we go. I need to do like a day of me. I still have the live one. Working, like recording a bit of audio and then adjusting, then recording a bit of audio, then adjusting, and so on and so forth, so I get it perfect. Okay. No, it's over here. Somewhere. It's somewhere. There we go. Okay, we're ready to start now. All right. Let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet. It's supposed to be any background noise. It is rather loud on my end. This is gonna make it really quiet for you guys for a minute. There we go. All right, and I can just use this for me. Nice. Okay. So the original page for Star Citizen. So this was the day of it going live, right? Let's see. How long had it been up? Launched October 2012. We are currently existing in October. It has been up for a day. Okay. They are 90% to their goal. Okay, not 90. Maybe like 75, 80, 85 to their goal 24 hours later. They only wanted 500,000. They're adorable. All right. Back this project. $1 minimum. This project will only be funded if at least 500,000 is pledged by Monday, November 19th at 1:58 p.m. EST. Adorable. Okay. Nope. All right. See, I don't know where that command is that Nightbot keeps freaking out about. I can't find it anymore. I'm gonna have to like wipe it and reinstall and like redo all of Nightbot. Reclaim the stars in the exciting new space epic from legendary designer Chris Roberts. The report of my death have been greatly exaggerated. I love that quote from the trailer. The traditional publishers don't believe in PC or space sims. Venture capitalists only want to back mobile or social game startups. Which, I mean, Star Citizen's kind of a social game. Anyway, we say they're wrong. We say that there is a large audience for PC gamers that want sophisticated games built for their platform, and inside this audience, a significant group of people that have always loved space games, and if given a quality one, again will be happy to play it. Dang straight. Like that is the killer line right there. And that's like killer of like every genre though. Is no genre is dead. People are just waiting for a good one. Whether that be an arcade or a realistic racer, a fighter pilot sim or an FPS game. Make a good one and you will have a large core audience. Like it's never, genres are never dead. They're just stagnating, and so people get bored with them. So, I always believe that this will always be the point of good game designers, good game publishers, is giving a quality example of whatever you're trying to do. Ask not what your genre can do for you, but what you can do for your favorite genre. let's put high-end PC gaming and Space Sims back on the map. I mean, they're doing that. Star Citizen, see, okay, so there's like, and I do this a lot. I don't know why. Just my like the edge of my nose just itches. I'm not sure why. Anyway, so yes, they lead with Star Citizen. Do they even say Squadron? And Squadron 42 is down here. Okay, so they lead with Star Citizen. Star Citizen brings a visceral action of piloting interstellar crafts through combat and exploration to a new generation of gamers at a level of fidelity never before seen. At its core, Star Citizen is a destination, not a one-off story. It's a complete universe where any number of adventures can take place, allowing players to decide their own game experience, pick up jobs as a smuggler, pirate, merchant, bounty hunter, or enlist as a pilot, protecting the borders from outside threats. Chris Roberts has always wanted to create one cohesive universe that encompasses everything that made Wing Commander and Privateer and Freelancer special. A huge sandbox with a complex and deep lore, allowing players to explore or play in whatever capacity they wish. That universe is Star Citizen. The reason you'll want to play Star Citizen, my God, it's full of stars. Are they not supposed to like tell you where the quote comes from? I'm pretty sure that's the they're supposed to tell where the quote comes from. Anyway, a huge universe to explore, trade, and adventure in. Space is unending, endless, and isn't that the same word? And so are your opportunities. Strike out to make your fortune among the stars, or sign up for a tour of duty in the UE fleet. Now, I really wonder if you'll be able to do this in the game still. It's one of the things I really like hope they do is actually give you some like advocacy and Navy jobs, kind of like Starfield does it. Constantly, well, actually, Starfield, the equivalent for Starfield would be the CDF, which we already do have in here. Constantly expanding and evolving universe. We're committed to making Star Citizen a living, breathing universe that is its own entity. It will be a constantly shifting and evolving place for players to explore and affect. Micro updates rule. There we go. I can read what's actually in front of me. We're not interested in having yearly updates. Once live, we'll be a team of people adding content on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So we will always be adding data, stories, and campaigns, as well as reacting to the needs of and actions of the players. That is going to, I mean, that's a terrible thing to say. Like, as somebody who has seen Star Citizen grow up and knows a little bit about like even like what in like info blogs, I guess, about how to like run a channel and how to like price your options or like Patreon or something. This is a almost unfulfillable goal, or at the very least, you're saying you're going to say something that you have no idea if you're going to be able to fulfill. I don't think it will ever be weekly or bi-weekly updates. And this is, again, post-launch. I think we'll be getting content a lot faster, and I imagine that like we won't need to wait for a quarterly update eventually. I imagine when a ship is done, it'll just be hot patched into the game. And that way it just load up, spend the 5 seconds, and then there's something new. So we'll always, yeah, we already heard that. Navy wings are made of gold. We love single player. Squadron 42, a Wing Commander style single player mode, playable offline if you want. Now this is the big thing that changed. It was a few years ago, but co-op has been dropped. I forget why they dropped it, but basically, I think it was something to do with balance. There's an itch in my nose. Playable offline or online co-op with friends. Sign up for a tour of duty with the UEE fleet, meaning the front lines, protecting settlements from the Vanduul warbands. Life during wartime. If If you distinguish yourself in combat, you might be invited to join the legendary 42nd Squadron. Much like the French Foreign Legion of old, they can always be found in the toughest areas of operation and always snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, regardless of the odds. There's hair or something. Yeah, there's hair. Cat hair on my screen. The conflict never ends. Upon completion of your tour, you'll re-enter the persistent Star Citizen universe with some credits in your pocket and citizenship to help you make your way. But the universe of Star Citizen, when one conflict's end, another one is just around the corner, or another is just around the corner. You'll have opportunity to spend more time with your squadron mates as additional campaigns are released as part of the content update plan. Now that is an amazing idea. One that I don't think they can actually deliver on because releasing actual games. I think it's a novel idea to be able to boot into Squadron from Star Citizen, not as a SimPod thing where you basically just SimPod and then just load into a new game. But you can actually go to a place and then just go to that event. Obviously, like in an instance manner, but basically it will like put your character there and then it will take you offline. Really cool idea. I don't think there's double spaces there. Oh, wait, no, there's triple. Oh, there's just one. God, imagine if they add narrative campaigns to Arena Commander. I mean, it depends on what you mean by narrative campaigns, because Theaters of War is, I mean, even the elimination rounds are narratively based. And then Theaters of War is a multi-tiered battle with also narrative base. It's not going to, like, I don't think they'll ever use Arena Commander as a mission type narrative, like Squadron will be. Because even after we get all 3 episodes of Squadron, they've said they want to do more stories. And I can imagine if Squadron goes well enough, and if Star Citizen kicks off as hard as they are hoping it does, to where it is like one of the games that's just like on everyone's mind, something like a Skyrim or a, like, not like in the center of most players' area, but just off to the side. Like, maybe they can have, in the continuing on, maybe they can have at that point 2 different games being developed at the same time. Because we're gonna get Squadron 1, 2, and 3, or episode 1, 2, and 3. And I'm hoping they'll do like a smuggler / piratey kind of outlaw story after that. Because most of the narrative here will be Kate Crimson, the crew of the Belligerent Duck, which is the reunion video that is on the Star Citizen YouTube channel. Like, a lot of their characters that they've made lore about are outlaws. So it'd be really nice to get like an outlaw, not like a gang like what is the gang in Squadron 42? OMC. Not like that kind of gang, but like, and not like game-based, more of the Han Solo type is what I'm thinking of. It'd be really nice if we could get that kind of a story. It's the economy, stupid. Actions of the players impact the universe and become part of its history and lore. So interesting. They basically, like, even in the Squadron 42 section, they still talk about Star Citizen, and then we're off it. We the people. Actions of the players impact the universe and become part of its history and lore. The universe will change based on players' actions and adventures, allowing them to become part of the history of the universe. As an example, players can scan for gravitational anomalies while out in space. If one of them is discovered and players manage to successfully navigate this uncharted jump point, they'll be able to sell their nav computer recording of their jump flight path for a great profit to a space company for other users to download, but the real prize is getting to the system or jump point named after them. And this is actually, so this is definitely still going to be a thing. Like I say a lot to people who's like, there's 100 star systems. No, we only know of 100 star systems, and there's actually only like 80 something. Last somebody said, there are uncharted jump points, and they can lead outside of the known universe. We know that we don't know of several. Arcstar map. Another thing that's 1 in a billion. I mean, you have to be looking for them. Toot toot toot. So we have all these Vanduul systems over here that we know, obviously, that there's jump points to them, but we don't know where they are. I hope we get to a point where that can't be data mined. For sure. I really hope we get to that soon, because I imagine if 3.21 opened up and they didn't know the jump points were there, and then somebody found them. That would have been so much cooler. Would have been so much cooler. We know that there is another race. Obviously, we know these, but we know there's another race out here somewhere. We're just not allowed to find them. So if we could like chart a space over here and around them, that'd be super cool. But yeah, you can sell them. You can use them like pirates of old do, and use them as your own personal hiding spot. But you run the risk of, if you don't sell it soon enough, somebody else is going to find it and then sell it, and they're going to sell it out from under you, so you miss out on the credit and the credits. Allowing user-generated content is a key design goal. Now, this is one of the big questions that still linger over the entire game. Our modding tools will allow players to design new ships for both submission to the Persistent Universe RSI ship dealer network, or to build custom ships and items for self-hosted multiplayer modes. Interesting, they didn't say Persistent Universe. So there could be some just like base, like hangar module attached to like, I don't know, like player Habs hangar and free fly kind of idea. That would make sense to me for a multiplayer mode. Or maybe even like let the community build up a canned universe all their own. I mean, but modding tools allow players to design ships, especially for submission into the Persistent Universe. Now that intrigues me. Allow for both submission into the persistent RSI ship dealer network, or build custom ships and items for self-hosted multiplayer mode. They have a whole name for it. Love it. It's about the gameplay and your interactions with others. We plan to put out... I can't read without my... Can't read without my pointer. We plan to put out a lot of social ideas in the universe. Since the universe is dynamic, it will create some divisions and factions. For example, it's a perfectly valid choice not to be a citizen and operate outside of the protection of the Earth, later called the UE. We think there will be people that gravitate to crime, or helping enforce the law, or defending the galaxy from alien raiders, or just accumulating as much money as possible. We want to include all of these social divisions so players will gravitate to one or the other, like the real world operates. There we go. Does this predate Persistent Universe as a name? Yes. All of this predates. This is literally a day after they posted anything publicly. This is before everything. So the Kickstarter started in 2012, 2018, and I'm reading this at the date of the 19th of October. So one day later. Aliens, you set this command to be... Oh, alas, you... Okay. See, I don't know where the command is. I wish I could find it. Okay. It's the economy, stupid. Fully dynamic economy driven by player actions. If too many people fly iron ore to the smelting plant by New Pittsburgh, apparently that's the thing. Steel prices will drop. Buy low, sell high. You hope. You hope. It's fine. The cost of society. The game trade landing. In-game trade landing and trade tariff. Trade landing and tariff. Wow. Trade landing and trade tariffs pay for law and order in the civilized systems. Want to make a bigger profit? Try the outer world. Ow. Outside Earth's infrastructure and protection. And downside, no military or local police to protect you from an opportunistic pirate. I mean, honestly, that all so far still checks out. Money isn't everything. You could be a trader, a miner, or an industrial magnate, amass great wealth, or just run enough missions to earn a comfortable living and upgrades for your ship. Again, still relevant. I get by with little help from my friends. I forget where that's originally quoted from, because like so many things have quoted since. Space is empty, but you're never really alone. If caught alone in an online ambush, send a distress broadcast to your friends. If they're nearby, they can jump in system to save your bacon. In each combat instance, player slots are reserved for your friends, so you can relay forces to join you in combat. Gosh, bleh. I'm not good at reading sentences. Now, that's an interesting change that we went through. What is that? Interesting. Something failed on my phone. So, this is talking about, like, instance combat. And what? So, this evolved, actually, from what sounds like instance combat to server reservations. So when you log into the game now, the DGS, the game server you're on, only has about 120 slots in it at max. That can come down if the server's running badly. And with this, and what this evolved into was that like maybe those 20 are being saved for friends of the other 100. And so if you get, down in a bunker or need some help, you can say, and they want you to use the in-game system or the Spectrum, but we use Discord currently because it's way better than what we have in game. And you would just call up your friends, your org mates or whatever, and they would be able to jump on and jump into your instance instead of having to wait for the population to let them in. Basically, there'd be a reserved section of population, and this will be a lot easier to do with server meshing because you'll have a lot more fluidity with the player caps. So if someone needs to get in, let's say around Crusader, the servers can just say, well, we're going to let one more person in, so we'll subdivide it. And this is the third version of server meshing, not the first. We can just subdivide it again and let more new players in because they're at Yella, not Orison or everyone's at Daymar. So we'll just subdivide it again so they can get in. And that's where we start to see that glimmer of hope for a single shard. The only problem between us and a single shard is the light speed between, I forget where in the US is directly opposite of China, but basically it's directly across the world. Whatever that directly path across the world is, I think it's 200 milliseconds plus to get around the entire Earth as far like through the internet lines. And if you want everyone to be able to play with everyone seamlessly, everyone has to run the longest ping or longest standard ping. And so that means if I am connecting to a USE server, I need to have 200 plus ping so that the person on the other side of the world is running at the same speed as I am, and I don't have a ping advantage. But if they can make that run in some form of acceptable way, that everyone from esports people to sim people are okay with it, then we can have everyone in a single shard. And everyone can play that can feasibly see everyone. I say feasibly because there's not going to be a lot of people in a lot of places. And when you get, 100, 200, 1,000 players in a single spot, you end up running into problems on the client side instead of the server side. Anyway, continuing on. Bigger ships often bigger multiplayer action. Offer bigger multiplayer action. I know, right? On larger ships, friends can join you and man turrets, repair systems, or switch with you on the pilot's chair. Think Millennium Falcon with Han Solo piloting and Luke on the turret. I feel the need for speed. Real physics, but fun to fly. That's what they're still working on. Almost 12 years later. I feel like there was a thing here. I feel like there was one of these things. Interesting. Full rigid body simulation of all spaceships. Now, I don't know if that's what I think it is.
In this Blender beginner
tutorial. No, that's not what I need. Rigid body. CG sim. Go.
Hey guys, Mr. Cheeps essentially stores an event. You may need to change the collision settings under the physics tab.
Okay, so no, I'm thinking of something else. So yeah, basically being able to collide with like ships hitting each other. You wanted proper Newtonian mechanics? You got it. Spaceships adjust their trajectory and orientation just like the real thing. Yes, they actually still do calculate the thrust coming out of the thrusters. So, instead of just saying, okay, you're pressing W, so we'll move the ship, they actually say, we're going to put this force in the thrusters, so the thrusters actually move you forward. And so that's why, especially in like the Fear, it's really noticeable. When you lose an engine, you just spin out of control. It's very simple. Intelligent Flight Control System, IFCS. So if anyone is wondering what that stands for, that's the exact definition of it right there. Intelligent Flight Control System, IFCS. Like a modern-day F-35, the ships have fly-by-wire systems which take the player's inputs and then translate them into commands for the ship's engines and thrusters to articulate and deliver the required thrust to achieve the pilot's request. Dynamic ship maneuverability. Ship's performance is calculated dynamically based on various physical variables and the ability of your jet maneuvering to deliver thrust towards a requested vector. What does this mean? Infinite customization and with component damage, mass, or energy charges affecting maneuverability on the fly, allowing for endless combat strategies and results. Again, this is another thing they're still working on. Ship components matter. Because we are fully simulating the physics of flight dynamics, the actual components matter. If a port thruster is damaged, it will affect your maneuverability organically. Yeah. If you upgrade your thruster package with enhanced thrusters that give all faster and deliver more thrust, it will affect your performance. Dump cargo, you may be able to get an edge in turning in a dogfight. This is actually something that it technically does also work in the game now. Reach out and touch someone or blast them. We're just about halfway down this page. 10x the detail of current AAA games. No, that's actually pretty accurate. 2012 game. I know Far Cry is built on Dishonored. That one's pretty good. I've played Dishonored, and that's not in the running for this for sure. I've seen Mass Effect. I've seen The Walking Dead, but those are like stylized. That's stylized. That's stylized. Yeah, it's easily 10x on all of these. Like, these are good games for sure, but like they're
Stop singing.
actual. And why are you all grayed out? Can you not be grayed out? Is that what that looked like? I feel like it wasn't this blown out. But yeah, like it was a bit stylized, but it also was just like the models weren't that great, and the texturing didn't help either. Let's see. Lord of the Rings, Mario, Legend of Zelda, Minecraft. I forgot that came out in 2012. No, it came out in 2009. Oh, highest grossing games. We got a ways to go. Ways to go before we hit that. Wait. January, March. Oh my gosh. Of 2012? Sonic the Hedgehog CD came out in 2012? No. Okay, no. Why is it on here then? 1993. Why is it? What? What is this? Maybe it came out on something else? On Windows. Yeah, it came out to Windows. QE. No screenshots. Anyway. Yes, I can easily concur with that. Because it's, 10 years later. Is it 10x the next one in line? Is it 10x, Call of Duty 2040, whatever the name is? Is it 10x Starfield? Is it 10x whatever the next in line for like best detailed game, like something like, I don't know, Gran Turismo or something? No, it's not. Definitely 10x the current games of its original date. Anyway, most current AAA games have around 10,000 polygons for a character and 30,000 or so for a vehicle. In Star Citizen, characters are detailed at 10,000 or 100,000 polygons. The fighter at 300,000 and a space carrier at 7 million. Space carrier? I imagine that's what the Bengal is. The space carrier. Because they didn't have names for stuff yet, so it would be a player character, the Hornet, and the Bengal. For instance, and I really want to see what I'm about to get. Citizen. Oh, I remember the Legend of the Freelancer Rivets. Oh my god.
Just like we talked about.
Okay, so videos. Can I oldest? Oh my gosh. Okay, scale. First cinematic trailer. 10 years. All right. So this was most people's introduction to the game. This entire thing has changed. We now have a Vega system. I don't think we have a crosswa. I'm sure I've killed that. UES Pulse Steed, Bengal class carrier, mission status, secret ops. So these are like the things they had. They had the Bengal, they had the fighters. That's basically all they had. I forgot how boring the soundtrack is. Like, it's not epic at all. Or at the very least, it does not match what's happening on screen at all. Oh my gosh, you can see how just paper thin these engines are because you can see the background. Like they're basically just this outfit and it's the same pattern right here and in there. So they like have no like engine to the engines. And just for contrast. Just for contrast. Actually, Star Citizen. I know exactly how to find it. I know exactly how to find it. No, not Star Citizen. What if I search the correct spelling? Wait, what? Is it one or two ends? Guess it's one end. Recommitted Reborn. It's to do with lighting. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Looks like it was using the original IFCS system that didn't need it
What the
complete.
heck? What the heck happened here? Quality. Oh, 1080 is all we got.
In IFCS 2, obviously, it's not.
There's
big,
a pretty
it's
stark
real, so-
difference between this. What's it? No, this. Let's remove that. This. And this. Oh my gosh. Oof. Oof. Yeah. Pretty stark difference. Anyway. This is a really slow. I just want to get to the part where you show a person. Alright, so you have people, you have the fighter, and you have the carrier. This is a very, very slow. I did not remember how slow it was. So that's why they said you have in Star Citizen characters are 100,000, the fighter is 300,000, the space carrier is 7 million. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those thrusters are 7 million now. Let's see. How many polygons are in Resident Evil 1? I don't know. The evolution of gaming. Wow. More polygons than the entirety of Resident Evil 1. But give me a number. Polygons. A character. What's a good limit? Try limit for the main character. Just give me a number. Oh, okay. So that's actually much lower than I thought it was going to be. 250,000. Assuming the character isn't bald, put aside 50,000 for hair. Interesting. Main character is about 11K, 11,000. B variant, 13,000. Wow, that's very low numbers. And this was... I don't know how to split that up. Is that 23 or was that in 2010? These are okay. The title. It's 2022. Okay. All right, so that's still a good, like, it's not bad actually. And that's a form. I want to try and find like a. How many polygons are? Too many polygons. 15K, 25K. The character's clothes will be another 60 on top of that. So if we take the 25K plus 60, still we're way lower than 100,000 for a character. So that's interesting. And then obviously the ships are bigger, so they get more detail. Because the same detail bar, just at scale. Anyway, this allows unparalleled detail, making the visuals more immersive than has ever been achieved before. They ain't wrong. Everything you would imagine would move or articulate on spaceships, on a spaceship or device does. Man, this is one of the things I'm really waiting on though. So even in Starfield, and there are a lot of static props, no doubt. There are a lot of static props. But if you can't put it in your inventory, it's still movable. And a lot of the props, and there's an entire team in Star Citizen, so they're working on it. But a lot of the props in Star Citizen now don't move. And they're very static. And some of them barely react to explosions happening. Some do, but a lot don't. So we're still waiting on this one, for sure. Every spaceship is built from hundreds of subcomponents. Well, that's not a thing. Many of them moving and articulating just like they would in real life or in the real world. If a component gets damaged during combat, be prepared to feel the effects on your ship. Okay, so component here, I guess, doesn't mean component like we know these quantum drive engines, coolers, kind of things. If they're saying like engines are articulating like that, then an engine, I guess, could be a component. And then you have, screens and chairs as components. Basically, components as the engine sense, not as in the game sense. That's no moon. It's a space station. Range of scale never seen before in a game. It was such a simple sentence. I still screwed up. From a vast 1 kilometer long carrier to a 27-meter fighter, to your 1.8 meter tall pilot, everything is rendered in the same level of detail. Zoom in to the paneling of the carrier, and its textile density is the same as the 27-meter fighter, all without a load screen or loss of visual fidelity. Back in 2012, they were saying no load screens. So I think it's quite cool they've been able to deliver on that. Really feel the scale of ships and space battles. Because of the ability of the game to scale seamlessly, you could be looking out a window on a bridge of a carrier, watching the battle unfold, or jump into the cockpit and take flight to the enemy, or take the fight to the enemy. And what this actually continues to go down the road with is you can be, let's say, on a Bengal, and then you can be looking out the window at the battle. You can then go get in your fighter and go out into the battle, and then you can land on the other person's cap ship and do an FPS fight over there. And I kind of think I'm not sure, and I have no data to prove this, but there was a game called, oh no, it's not even been that long. It was a robots, but it was a building game as well. It wasn't Starfield. Starbase. And that's kind of like the reason I really wanted to play Starbase is because of that kind of big ship, multiple battle kind of thing. Hello, Smithy. How's it going? And so when it kind of fell on hard times, it wasn't super upset because I haven't started Citizen relatively soon here. Joystick, gamepad, mouse, keyboard, all supported. Plus, so many more things. We got all our preferences, so why be forced to choose? basically, if it inputs to the game, like it's just good. I played Starbase. It was okay. That's what I've heard. It's okay. They didn't know what they wanted out of the game, and so they didn't do anything with the game. And I'm sad, but it happens. They didn't know if they wanted it to be like an FPS or like a competitive game or a building game. And honestly, that's exactly the same problem that Dual Universe has. They don't know if it's a building game or a battle game. And a lot of developers get stuck with that kind of fight, then they don't resolve it. And then they release a product and the game has no idea what it is. So you just are kind of lost at like, should I be taking up, like, should I be a front man or should I be building ships? I don't know. They knew what they wanted, but what they wanted wouldn't work, so they didn't know what to do. I know from Space Engineers that having both kind of stinks. Yeah, Space Engineers knew that was a building game though, and they said, "Okay, we're gonna have combat, but we do building. Combat comes after." And with Dual Universe, they said we're a combat game. We're not really combat. We're a PvP game, but where we're gonna show it is combat. So it's a voxel game. It's an amazing voxel engine, like fantastic, like award-winning probably. I don't know if they've won any awards for their like fully server meshed, fully voxelized terrain. Everything's voxels. But they're like, hey, to do anything, you need to fight people. And it's like you can do it without fighting people, but somebody's going to come for your lunch, basically. And they highly encourage people to almost bully other people, not technically for obvious reasons bully them, but to contest their resources. And they just have such an amazing voxel engine, and I hate that I don't like it because they're just want to make everything so difficult. Yeah, the combat in Space Engineers at least feeds the building, as there are no shields, so you will need to do the building after the combat. Yes. Let's see what else we got. Advanced peripheral support as part of Nope, that's not one.
Commitment.
As part of commitment to high-end gaming, we are dedicated to supporting the more exotic enthusiast peripherals. HOTAS, flight chair, rudder pedals, it's all about the immersion. And if you got the equipment, we want to support it, including VR, which will be right here. I didn't know VR was on the initial page for it. Virtual reality is here. We have backed Oculus Rift and will support it in Star Citizen. Oh, rip Oculus. And Squadron 42. Who doesn't want to sit in their cockpit, hands on the joystick, your joystick and throttle, swiveling your head and to track enemy fighters? That just blew by. Man, that is some of like the best kind of VR experiences. Actually being able to track other pilots, other planes, whatever you're targeting, basically. Being able to just turn your head and watch them and to pilot your ship kind of where you're looking, because you have that kind of spatial awareness. And I only see it once. And I there's probably somewhere somebody's doing another one, but I've only seen it in Eve Valkyrie where it's done well. Does Faceware even admit working with CIG anymore? Faceware? Ooh, that's an old one. Because they've moved on to so many better things. But isn't Faceware the people who designed their IP or their VoIP? Very cool. Doesn't look like it. Real time. No, I don't see anything about it. Yeah, I don't see anything on their site about it. I wish I could search an entire site. But also they are a much bigger company than I thought. Is there a search bar anywhere? No. Why would there be a search bar on a blog? MetaHumans, yeah. Like, I don't even Star Citizen hasn't even done much with face over IP in a long, long, long time. They have not gone back to re-up it yet. And who knows if they'll be if FaceWare is going to be involved in it or not. But no, alas, they do not mention Star Citizen on their site at all. Which is face over IP is one of the bigger things that Star Citizen is not working on, because it's one of Meta Facebook's big things they're working on is to get face tracking in their new headsets and to get into VR, so you can do that kind of full presence into whatever VR, whatever metaverse you want to call it. And so you can have much more metaversey-like experiences. And Star Citizen way jumped the gun. The door already has it, but they've not gone back to refocus on it. It's very interesting. Next gen today, very funny. Technology that will push your PC to its limits. CryEngine 3. Now, here it says CryEngine 3, but we've been told it was built in CryEngine 2. So that's interesting. Built on top Crytek's award-winning CryEngine 3 technology, Star Citizen engine is built to scale for PCs of today and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, because it's 2023 and we're still trying to run it on 4090s. I don't know if there's a TI version, but yeah, still struggling to do it. A PC gaming enthusiast's friend. As you upgrade your PC, Star Citizen will take advantage of your extra processing cores, memory, or GPU. This is why you're a PC gamer. You love being on the cutting edge, not stuck in the past. I mean, yeah, but also I'd like it to run nice anyway. There's a disturbance in the force. We know everywhere that one is. Today's game publishers, like their Hollywood counterparts, want predictable returns from sequels to last year's hits. A game in an out of favor genre set in an original universe is viewed as a bad investment. This is still true today. And the concept of developing a new product exclusively for the PC sends publishing executives, and most venture capitalists running for the exit. Also true. Ooh, chasing the PC, building dragon. Let's go. We can be heroes. I don't know where the quote one is. I don't know where that quote is from. There we go. And that hero is you. The unappreciated PC gamer, the ignored space sim fan. This is your chance to have your voice heard, to tell the world that the high-end PC gaming lives, that you want to sit in the cockpit of your space fighter, defending the galaxy, or making your fortune as a wily entrepreneur. Star Citizen is meant to be everything you've ever dreamed you could have in a space sim, all in one glorious, ever-evolving package. We need your support. This is where they start getting all support the Patreon or support the Kickstarter. We know it may not look like it may not look like this, but we do. how does that sentence even work? What you've seen was put together by a very small team over the past year. We felt so they've been working on it for a year. So development started 2011. And my water's gone. There was nothing in there. We felt that this vision needed to be shown rather than talked about, so we invested our own money, to build the technical and visual prototype that shows just how Star Citizen is going to push the limits of PC gaming. And they chose a Bengal key shot, not like a city. I think a city would have sold people more at the time. Like, they got a lot of the military guys hyped in 2012. But for me, it would definitely, a cityscape would definitely drew me in more. Instead of taking this prototype to a publisher for a green light, we are cutting out the middleman and taking it to you. And this is still their philosophy today. As the consumer gets the ultimate vote in whether we make this game, your dollars are your votes, and the better we do, the more resources we'll have to bring you a great game. This was still 3 years before they got all the Crytek devs and the Procedural Planets demo. 16? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. Cities as they are were never really the plan. We've just been would have been just pretty skybox. Yeah, no, I get it. Let me highlight that. But I would have been way more impressed if this screenshot was the thing that they showed us. People Planet was the end of 2015. Like, I think it would have been the same amount of work to get either the Bengal or a key shot or what, like a trailer, a visual slice of what they were trying to do in a city instead. As a lot of things to scroll through. I'm not scrolling through all that. What the heck? Is that not supposed to search in Star Citizen? I am very confused. What the crap? Why is it way down here? What the crap is going on? December 2016 or December 2015. I'm still waiting for the ugly round ship in the background inside the Bengal. The weird vertical, and we've seen other shots, and it's actually been confirmed. That the Cartual and the Sentaki Eye are not that ship. Oh, I definitely do use Darchives. I just used it early in the show. Yeah. Ah, the VFG hangar that we never actually got to leave. Levski, we love you. Procedural Rocky Planets, 1,000 kilometers in diameter combined with custom landing zone location. Can you imagine what Levski's gonna look like? Seamless transition from space to ground level. Can you imagine what Levski's gonna look like when it comes back? Atmosphere are based on physically accurate models of light transportation, taking multiple scattering, something. This allows to run your atmosphere correctly, plus automatically from any viewpoint at space to ground level. Probably look like Lefty. Yeah, no, you're right, but it'll look nice, I imagine. Since the planet could never fit in memory, the planet's surface is procedure generated on demand at different LODs at the same as the camera moves. Yes. See, this is my problem with Starfield. They said, well, we do it procedurally, so we can't do it on runtime. Like, what do you think procedural generation is? Like, it's based on a seed, which means, and they do it themselves. If you go back to the exact same spot, it'll look the exact same way. You could definitely do it on runtime. 64-bit positioning plus camera relative rendering are used in combination with other techniques to avoid loss of precision at planetary scale. That's awesome, by the way. "100% engine footage rendered in real time." 2015, and games are still trying to catch up. Like, it's amazing. Like, and this is why I wanted to go back and read all this early stuff, is because, like, people get so caught up in, like, well, the textures aren't 8K and there's not like a billion polygons for every square inch, but like, their core tech is still envious to most of the gaming world. Like, even like a lot of the Unreal Engine 5 Nanite demos are not, hey, you can do a whole planet now. And even in something like Voxel Engine or Voxel plugin, it's very hard to get all this actually looking good. And so 3 years later, 3 years into development, they're like, yeah, drop a planet in there. It took them 3 years to get to this point. Now, sure, the planet looks like this. Not exactly a lush environment. But, like, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. From this to what we just saw. And from this to this in what's the 10 years? This to this in 10 years. Absolutely incredible. Instead of taking this prototype to a publisher greenlight, we remember that. Consumer goes, we have investors that have agreed to contribute to the balance we need to complete this game. Do you now? And not to mention that the plants totally threw the rest of the schedule out over the window, and we're still catching up with themselves. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, we're basically caught up because because we were about to get server meshing end of 2022? End of 2020? I want to say end of 2020. When did everything go completely awry? Because we have data. We have a thing. VNPC. Do 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 do. I know this sounds.
I'm going to add a V.
I know this sounds like complaining, but it's true. Okay. Show transcript. Thank you. Control F. I. What did it call it? What did the auto generate thing?
Abandoning the mission or disconnecting, neither of purpose, and will also be a key component in the implementation of a number of other upcoming features.
Hmm. Wow, that was really bad. Yeah, it doesn't like that as a... Yep, that's not helpful. What did it auto-generate cache as, if not cache? I wonder if it mentioned... Do. I believe it's right when he stops talking about this scenario.
Populations feature
Oh. Yeah, it's definitely not that long.
objective for Star Citizen has always been a dynamic and evolving universe.
I know it was full frame him.
In a better and more realistic gameplay experience. Quantum will know where exactly on the surface of a planet NPCs might be found and what they should be doing. It will understand the value of knowledge and factors the cell would be worth, and the service will be built and shipped with all future. The system has now been pretty thoroughly integrated. You eventually attempt to spend our time and effort, given how different. There's still a tremendous amount of work to do on the simulation. The algorithmic logic for injecting that data into the workout any the price will be fully exposed, and will difficult back and forth, and more fuel price efficiency. None of need a concept of damage, which is the concept of fuel, or to gauge the game. The number of engineers working on new services, including functionality. As within the last,
Yeah, there it is.
A lot of service work involved in allowing new types of data to flow between Quantum and the game. With iCache now largely complete, we've been...
Okay, so this is where everything fell apart. So this was 2021. Okay. So we were... Oh, some gameplay from Morphologist. Nice.
Been able to shift some resources.
Yeah, it's iCache is in money. Okay, that's how it auto generated. So in 2021, they said iCache is almost done. So they started working on implementing it into the game code, and then everything screwed up. And then at that point, they said, okay, we need to make a new system. We need to make a new data structure, a new inventory system, a new way of handling variables and entities. And so they had minus, a year, 2 years to build PES. What is PES now? Or the replication layer, the entity graph is what they called it. And they said, okay, so since we're so far behind, we're going to start both at the same time. We're gonna assume we know what the entity graph is going to look like, so we'll start up server meshing at the same time, so they can both be done by the end of next year. Great, let's do this. 6 months in, they're like, we can't do this. We need to finish the entity graph before we can move forward. And so server meshing was shelved. And this is the biggest reason why around 2020 that's not the first time you mentioned that. 2023, 2023. Where's the 2020s or 2022 stuff? Oh, there we go. Now there's 14 pages. Can we just skip to page 15, please? 2021. I don't think these actually include Pyro, did they? Ah, I actually did start talking about early VFX for Pyro. Okay, so in 2022, let's go to the end of 2022. It's right here. Lorville Revisited, Mission Feature, Journey to 4.0. Nope, not that one. Meshing together. Meshing together. Thank you for following 20 DAC 1988. That's how I'm going to read it. We had that Galaxy class, and this was very much Pyrocentric. CitizenCon. Further underground. So even before then, we basically saw Pyro being done very early because it was supposed to be done when they were supposed to be getting into server meshing at the end of iCache. So that's kind of what went wrong. So very, very wrong. There we go. Planetary Pyro 2022 10.8. Yeah. And so Pyro's been mostly done by them since then. They've been able to work more on it because they've just had the time. But because iCache failed miserably, they had to rebuild the new entity graph entire system. And then they had to build on top of that. Then they had to get to server meshing. And we only got 318. Was it the beginning of 2023? With the replication layer embedded into the DGS, the new entity graph. What was supposed to be iCache, the full version of iCache. And so then they were able to say, okay, now we can start implementing, not working on, but start implementing, because they've been working on server meshing since 2017. This is just the end of the road of them working on it. The final, push to implementation. And so that is where we're at as far as whatever it is that started me on this rant. Oh, the planets, seeing the planets and stuff. I don't remember how I got on to server meshing being so late. IDLE 2.0, it came and gone, and now we're working on, I think on top of IDLE 2.0 is what the resource managing system is built on. So Fixed, it did not make available for a lot more gameplay. It did. We have investors that have agreed to contribute the balance we need to complete this game as long as we can validate that there is demand for a high-end PC space game. By meeting or surpassing our target on Kickstarter, you tell the world that you want a PC-based space sim and allow us to make that game. So interesting. So by the time they reached 500,000, there was more money in investors that would kick off back in 2012. But we're offering more than just the chance to support the platform and genre. As an early backer, you'll also be getting a lot more than just the finished game. For people who pledge for their spaceship and Star System in the Star System viewers, you'll be part of a select club that has exclusive access to early gameplay and behind the scenes development updates. There we go. The people who pledge for their spaceships will get to test fly them long before the general public. Technically true. 12 months in, we will allow the early backers to play the multiplayer Space Combat Alpha, and then 22 months they will get to play the Star Citizen Beta. 22 months, huh? You think just over a year? Well, 2 years almost. 12, yeah, just under 2 years, and you'll have a beta Star Citizen. That never happened. I'm super confused about two things. First, is the base building and Rastar? Got it. Okay, is the base building and Rastar? And second, what happened with the guy who made the rivers showing voxel damage to planets? Did it develop to Maelstrom? No, on the last one, it did not develop to Maelstrom. The guy who figured out how to do damage manipulation at runtime was working on rivers, and he found that as a perk. The tech is now kind of not shelved, but like in the background while they figure out what they want to do with it. It's there. They now know of it, but it was never supposed to be found, and so they don't know if they're going to do anything with it. So we don't know if we'll have mining, like terrain deformation as far as players go, but it's currently used in Rastar, getting back to the other one. Base building in Rastar. So base building is something that has been long since talked about. I don't know if it's been talked about in here. But base building will be a thing. We don't know in which form it will take as far as UI, UX goes, but we know it will be using a version of the tool Rastar, which is being used to quickly build outposts on planets now. Let me know if you have any other questions as far as those, because that was very brief overview. Let's see. Adventuring around a huge open galaxy well before the general public, we are going to limit our alpha slots to 200,000 as we want to stress test the game with real users, but will not be ready for full load until we have finished beta. This is like, they still don't have enough people to stress test. Base building. What about base? Last time talked about in 2051, right? Base building. 2021. Well, they mention it a lot. Like whenever they talk about Rastar, they'll throw in, yeah, this will be the system you base build with. They even mentioned it base building. Actually, the last time they talked about base building was with the new modules. Let's just throw base building at this and see what happens. Uh, 2019, 20 crafting planetary tools. No. Now, did they say player bases? I don't know.
On this side of the lake and live this super peaceful life. It has a few little cabs that are just like basically for shelter for like shaded areas where they maybe has a little workbench or a little table that they're making like crafting elements. He also built like a little dock so he can like maybe fish there at night. We planted a couple little harvestables as well along the coast of the water. He has his little house to himself. He builds that.
So there's no like update as far as progress on the player side. We just are keeping updated with what they're doing with
maybe
it.
players can come. Cool lake down below. So we thought like it'd be a good idea.
That's not technically Rastar. That's fine. Just the family destroying the house. Preparing prototypes. What did Rastar do this?
Opportunity this quarter to look at how Rastar is being used to remaster existing UGFs and Alpha.
No. Oops.
Okay. Any of its incarnations for a while now, you know that the road to CitizenCon is a...
Okay, well, that didn't help at all.
Elements. So for example, we're using the Rastar tool to create those, and we're building right now the library of all our modules to create.
Team right now progressing on that, testing out the Rastar tool, and as Nano was talking about before. So yeah, so they're using what we built and just adding on to it and trying new variations, new setups.
I don't think any of these have player mentioned here. Yeah, there's no real update to what exactly they're doing. We've just seen the continued development of Rastar, technically. Yeah, Rastar, the base building tool. Yeah, so no real updates since 2021. Crafting Worlds, CitizenCon. Are we due for one? Absolutely. Is there CitizenCon in 2 weeks? Absolutely. Yeah, so there was a let's see if that's not how you spell that. Yep, until the agreement, it's totally silent. That's just because it just hasn't been worked on. It's nothing like sinister. It's just like they talk about stuff they're working on. It just hasn't moved. Where is the infamous comment? Interesting.
It gets at kind of this desire from the player base to have a more continuous kind of player experience.
Yeah, there was a... Yeah, that definitely wasn't it.
And also, when you're talking about an entire player base, you know.
Oh, it's because it's not player base. It was talked about base. Base building. No, there was an earlier one. Oh gosh. How do you spell Aaron? No, E-R. Yeah, that one. Remember how they always updated it with their 3D models of factories and domes and stuff in 21, 22. Yeah, that's when they were like building the tool, but they were building the tool for the devs, and once they were satisfied with what the devs had and they picked all the modules that they wanted, they stopped making the modules. They even updated a little bit a little bit later after the devs have picked what they're going to use for the colonialism structures, with some greebles, a refinery, and some other stuff. Yeah, it's still on its way for sure. I just gotta figure out which one. He wasn't in the office. I know that much. Yeah, he wasn't in the office. Oh, I remember that one. Oh, that was kind of cringy to watch. River Hall. He's in the office, in the office.
You can see I have the one and only Aaron Roberts with me.
Hi, everyone.
We have a few guys out here from the UK right now, Rich and Rob.
The people we have here together in the room, actually.
Absolutely. Head count going on last week.
Fun being in the studio.
Yeah.
We've got barely...
When Chris and Aaron. Good. And other stuff. We're gonna,
There was a really old episode of something, and I'm not gonna spend the entire time looking for it, but it's in here somewhere, where Aaron Roberts said he's really excited to get base building in by the end of the year. And it was super old. Like somewhere near this old. It wasn't that one. Or that one. There was like original Foundry 42 footage. No, way before the Pioneer was introduced. Way before that. So I keep typing this, but it keeps not going back far enough. Yeah. Okay, there's one more place I can try. Now, which one is it? That one. Ah, dang it. That's not one. What would they call it in here? off precision production. No. No. It exists. I should have put it somewhere. But yeah, it's an old Aaron Roberts clip. I came across it. I have no idea why I came across it, but it was him saying he was really excited to get base building in by the end of the year, back in way before the Pioneer. I'll find it eventually, just probably not tonight. Anyway, I will be right back. So let's see, what can we leave you guys on? Something nice looking. All right, we'll leave you guys on this. I'll be back probably before this ends. So see you in a moment.
John turned around to me and told me that we were going to be putting the Bengal into the actual PU. And at first I thought he was just pulling my leg, because I mean, it's the Bengal, the biggest ship that we're ever going to have in the PU floating around. And I was like, well, is it just going to appear then fly away, or is it just in a poster? And he's like, no. I want it to be like we had the Javelin last year, where it comes in, it shoots, the players can try and fight it, and it flies around. I'm like, cool, that's not a small amount of work. That's a little bit of a minor task on top of everything else that's going on. The Bengal itself had a lot of old issues with it. Compared to a lot of our newer ships, it didn't feel as good, it didn't look as good. So we saw this as a great opportunity to go in and just fix some of this old legacy things that we'd done with the actual ship setup. So we started by fixing the problems first of all. So the giant engines at the back, the whole thing was a single thruster. So we started by cutting that out, making the actual nacelle part of the main ship geo, and then after making the ship geo, we then attached the actual thrusters as thrusters, so they work as thrusters. And then we found that it didn't have proper thruster placement because it was using the original IFCS system that didn't need it completely in IFCS 2. Obviously, it's not faked, it's real, so we had to actually go in and place new thrusters and rearrange some of the old ones just to get it to feel nice and to fly the way we'd expect it to. And after that, we had to then look at the weapons. This is the Bengal. It's got over 90 turrets to it that function, that fire, that fight back, that you have to actually deal with. So we went through and we saw that a lot of them were very nose-heavy placement, so we then completely changed the design of the location of the turrets, which went through a couple of iterations to make sure everyone was happy with it. It felt really weird for the entire carrier to have a complete front-nose battery. So we moved a lot of the weaponry and a lot of the cover around so that it was evenly distributed around the ship for the missile turrets, the phalanxes. After that was all done, those really small, minor, insignificant tasks, it was then a case of actually having it work, because unsurprisingly, when you put the Bengal into the PU, it doesn't run very well, because there's a lot of entities. It was a huge performance hit. Like, it was insane. Even internally, we were seeing a massive performance drop. So the next job was to try and optimize this, to actually get it to run in a decent way. If you have a look at any of the AI ships that the pirates use in the PU, there's physically a dude sat in the seat, which at the end of the day costs. Everything has a cost involved with it. So we started to explore a couple of different ways to do it. One route we took was to hide the whole thing behind viz areas, so it just wouldn't render it, wouldn't call it, wouldn't draw any of it, and that gave us a lot of wins. But we also saw it as an opportunity to try and do something we haven't really done on ships before, which was to have actual AI modules controlling the turrets. So we started playing about with that. We hit issues because we've never tried to implement it on this sort of scale. But after a lot of people doing a lot of hard work and playing about with it and making slight tweaks here and there, we ended up with the AI turret module, which was a huge performance boost. And I spawned in a load of pirate Idrises to fight the thing. And it was just amazing watching all of the guns pointing in different directions and just fire everywhere. It looked amazing. And then the missiles were coming in, it was shooting down all the missiles everywhere. And I probably spent a good half an hour just trying to actually hit it with a missile. There's just that much gunfire that it looks great. It's hard to describe how cool it looks when it's actually firing at a group of people. The impact of seeing the Bengal working, flying around was just incredible for people. And the Bengal's something I've been working on for quite a long time for Squadron 42. But once it's in the PU, people can fly around it and just take in the sheer size of it. It's just incredibly huge. And having an event like Invictus meant that we pushed specific tech and specific...
Now, with what he says, I want to show you my favorite ship. We get Bengal Carrier plus Bengal Carrier. Hello, Bengal Carrier plus Bengal Carrier. And then we will switch out the former Bengal for my Pegasus. So this is a big ship, correct? And we've seen this in game. Does it have the swoopy bit? Hold on.
On ships, we learned better ways to optimize the way we actually have AI crew inside the ship, because everything we do can be reused.
It doesn't swoop anymore. It's not swoopy,
and it can help everything as a whole. It's a lot of work, and
Retribution? Nah. No, this is the Bengal, and this is my Pegasus. It's very, very, very big as well. Not quite as bulky as the Bengal, but is a dedicated 30 craft carrier. And I just love it. It's unapologetically RSI. Like, this is military RSI. This is just RSI. Like, this is the same, like, looks like the same kind of design as would go into the, that was called the Polaris. Retribution is this guy. Small bit bigger. God, I can't wait to see that. I imagine we won't get to really see that till like maybe the climax of episode 2? Climax of episode 3 of Squadron? Yeah, that thing is just beastly. You can already tell like it's built very much like the Bengal. And with a lot of the like sheeting, the sheeting back here, like ribbing and stuff. It also is supposed to be classified. Oh, very much so. Like, I don't know why though. Like, what the Vanduul gonna break into your comms and say, hey, oh, they got a boat in the works. Like, from all I know of the Vanduul, they're not exactly like interested in humans. They just want our stuff because it's there and they need stuff. It's not a hard transaction. They don't want to like break into comms and figure out where people are. Though there is the shot in the Squadron 42 trailer where we're led to believe that it's the Vanduul tapping into not for the Vanduul, but the Xi'an. The Xi'an are having people like their master espionage. They were caught for like the entire Mezzer era of being these people that were just like force social like norms to go their way because they're good at espionaging. So like they knew. Maybe the Navy don't know they knew, but they knew. I have no evidence to say they knew, but they knew. The Xi'an like to keep very specific tabs on humans. But in the Squadron 42 trailer, and I really hate that it does this. 42. What happens? Hey. I search planet, goes all weird on me. I searched 42, and it like can't do it with Kathak though. I want my cat people. I've determined that they're cat people just because I want them to be cat people.
We will not fall back.
No, it wasn't there. Was it a different one?
No southern moves.
Who the hell are you?
We're OMC. And OMC belongs to Sato Khan. Is that your boss? Are we supposed to be scared of him or something? Yeah.
I just love it. Yeah. I love the reply.
The OMC aren't the only ones listening into comms.
That line. The OMC aren't the only one listening to comms. But, like, we're supposed to, because how the trailer's written, we're supposed to believe that's the Vanduul. Whose bridge is this?
The OMC aren't the only ones listening into comms.
Is that Bengal Bridge? I think it's a Bengal Bridge. That is definitely not Aegis. Anything here. Nothing in this shot is Aegis. That almost looks like an Anvil console, though. Because we've seen the... No, because the Anvil consoles come forward. Like, they're... As they drop to the floor, right? Like, where you put your sides. The side of your legs. So if you'd like to swivel, you would hit the edge of the desk in an Anvil console, because they come past the chairs. So you have to pull back and then get off. These are straight down. So RSI. These consoles are facing all sorts of weird directions. This is also true. There's the Javelin, which I don't know if we've seen much of the Javelin bridge. Also the Retribution, just saying. We also know that there are more ships than what we know of. But anyway, no, we've seen... It may have even been in this... God, that ship. Holy crap. There was a quick shot of materials.
In the PU,
yeah,
people
no
can
swoopy.
fly around
Wait,
it.
no, it does swoop. It does swoop. It do the swoop.
42.
Input, Leonardo DiCaprio pointing on screen. It's raised here, so it does swoop down into the thing.
Once it's in the PU.
There is bridge stuff somewhere. Oh, sad hacking noises.
Everything has a cost involved with it. So we started to explore.
That's an Aegis turret. Interesting. They don't show us the bridge in this shot.
So we started by fixing the problems first of all. So the giant engine.
It's so big. It's so big. Was it? Is it this one? So there's the Idris, I think. So like you guys are saying, all forward-facing consoles. And one of my favorite shots. That's back on the Aegis. Like, notice like the not just material change, but like every shape changes between this ship and this ship. You got all these like chamfers and rounded corners, these swoops. Like even right here, it swoops. It does not cut. RSI cuts. Anvil or Aegis flows. Ooh, that's gotta be Javelin then, right? Yeah, it's gotta be Javelin because that's not Idris, and we've seen the Idris. We've seen walking on to the Idris. You get a glimpse of the interior maybe in the 2952 last episode after vaulting and mantling, or vaulting and mounting Chris Rich Tower section, basically. Yes. Okay, I'll look into that next. This part. That's it. That's it. Aegis. That's Aegis. That's Aegis. That's Aegis. That's Aegis. More Aegis. Aegis. Don't know. Aegis. That's all. What's it called? Idris. Idris. More Idris. Very much Idris. More Idris. Oh wait. That's Javelin. Idris. I mean, it's kind of hard when they don't tell you. That's Anvil, or that's our side. That's Bangle. Cuts. There it is. There it is. Now, where would they be at to get that shot, though? So they're obviously on the ground floor. Right? Where are we at here? But, like, there's a lot. So, we're assuming that, yeah, they're looking out. I'm pointing. They're looking at the front of the ship. Like, most people are looking at the front of the ship. But in this front of the ship, there's a console. There's two consoles out front. The captain's in the middle. It looks like flanked by then two sideways consoles, and then consoles behind him looking back. So very Star Trek layout with that kind of like 360 of personnel. So if we go to here, up here in the front, well, the almost front, there is some like stairway up here. So it could be that's what we're missing. There's the radar globe, and then there's two chairs there, but they're facing forward. Back here we see some facing sideways ones. So that's as far as we get. That's as far as we get. It irks me to no end. Come on, let me scroll up. I remember seeing this and thinking the game might actually be close to done. I mean, yeah, no, same. 6 years ago, same. Sads. In that section, it slipped Rich's mouth. He said they've been building locations for 10 years. Chris confirmed it also. That's what gives me hope. Well, I guess let's go to the Rich Tower talk, videos, podcasts, playlists, podcasts. Lol. 2953, you said? Love the soundtrack.
You guys want us to hurry up or keep going?
Yeah. I just love this trailer so much. It's so good.
Hopefully you guys liked it.
I expect CitizenCon to live up to that. If nothing else, live up to that trailer. All right, Rich Tower talk.
All right, so that was a look at Outlaw Life.
Now, let's pull up the transcript because I'm not gonna watch the 2+ hour Rich Tower talk again. Coming in 53 coming in 21st of this month. Yes. All right, so what are we looking for? What are we looking for? 10 years. So let's just give it a simple one. Can you find 10 in the transcript? Silly.
So all of those tight, intricate areas that we've built over the last 7, 8, well, 10 years now, I suppose.
There you go. You're very correct. Now, what was that in reference to? I forgot. Oh, probably the vaulting, mounting. Okay, and then talk about seeing this was close to being done. Yes. Okay, so now we got to figure out. So this was Asiato. This is not a ship.
You may not be able to see them, but you're gonna know they're out there looking for you. And if you
This makes me want to play this game so bad. Like, I've never wanted to play Squadron 42 so bad as watching the Chris Tyro talk at the end of CitizenCon in last year. And like that was I'm assuming the exact purpose. So like, but just seeing like the textures of the wrinkled dust mats and the stealth.
same place for too long, they will find you.
Yeah, so you can see the.
Okay, let's do the trying to find something thing, and his face is so different now. This is a kind of still Asiato. I love that hangar though. It looks fantastic.
Stuff.
So skills cost.
You do super
the effort.
And that would be a really.
So then you can.
On here, and I can have. Is there's a complete redo of the Moby Glass.
Okay, I would love to see hangars like that. Absolutely.
Really
I wouldn't doubt that you're actually able to take that Cutlass out. More Asiato.
So this kind of like the email shortcuts to kind of the main.
The new UI is just
So you can see here we've got
flipping
your messages,
fantastic.
kind of like, the email client, and on the right we've got kind of like the ship chat that's coming in with general ship chat from the AI, which again is kind of just making it believe that you're in this believable environment or a real life environment rather than.
So like, you have your in-ship chat right here. This is the communication page. So this is what happens when you open up this. So you have, like you said, emails over here, your live chat over here. And then there was the opener. No, not that. I always hit that. Oh, speed 0.5.
So the first.
I lost count. I found how many Moglass we've seen, and never comes to you. Squadron 1 must be building blocks by now. It is. And the reason is exactly why they're developing in Squadron. And that is they want to build a version in Squadron that is the final version. So they're taking this idea of the Moby-Glass that we have a functional version in Star Citizen. So they're developing the Moby-Glass into a version where it's done. And then when it's done, they're going to port it over. So all these iterations were on the road to getting a finished Moby-Glass. And from what they say for this one, it's pretty done now.
Page you'll see this coming.
There's no Moby-Glass there.
Right now.
Like boot up sequences.
Kind of like.
So we have new messages, and we have journal entry, primary objectives, modifications. No, notifications, not modifications. EVA fuel, oxygen, health, external factors, ship status, rank, lieutenant, name, Christopher Blair. Military version, the civilian one should have either less or more features. It will have more features. The military one's locked down to mission critical things. For instance, your primary objective right there. And it's also supposed to be customizable. I don't know if it's gonna have customizability when they port it over. I'm pretty sure all of this UI stuff will be in next year. For many reasons. What I hate is the phone never rings or has notification sounds. That is a good point. That is a very good point. I mean, the phone does ring. You can actually call someone. And it does. Well, when it works, it rings. I'm gonna knock that off right now. Oh, this is exactly where you start. This is the first mission in the vertical slice that we saw many years ago. So now I was gonna click on. I imagine that. Access denied. That's the star map logo. But also, the ARC star map logo in the game. Where'd I put it? Did I close it down? No, it's right here. This logo, right here. In the game. There's a reason. So it clicks on messages. It's got this nice little swappy animation. Very nice. Now click on that one. And they've not shown off once what the map looks like. I don't think I've seen the map. And this is the new journal looking. Well, this is the military journal looking. All right, so we're looking for. Nope.
There was an alert down on our mission side here, but now we've gone and looked at it. It's clear. So that's the system. It's a framework. So like inside the, you'll get notifications. Let's look. I got a new message over here. I'll click over to it. Now we're back.
Oh, that's where it says what page you're on.
When it's like search engines. Tell me what am I about to decide what is just individually showing here today. We're confident in Squadron. Just into the game.
Some of the and that means again that was.
Yeah, this is just a snap.
About Squadron 42. That it's incredibly challenging.
You know what I'm worried about? If they made like quantum beacons to save locations as physical persistent objects. Why? As in people could go and blow them up? Because that would be kind of annoying. But also, like, that would make much... Like, that makes sense as, like, a quantum targeting spot. Semi, but we also have orbital markers, so, like, it doesn't really make sense that you'd have to have a physical beacon. Because you can just save the coordinates. A string of numbers. So it wouldn't make much sense to make them physicalized. But also, you have the low-tech version of... pen and paper. Once we have the new map system, we'll have coordinates. Just imagine you wake up in your random hab and there's a million device beacons beeping next to you. I mean, people have done that before. People have done that before because you can still stick stuff in habs, and you're not always the one that wakes up in that hab. There was a whole, like, putting Big Benny's challenge. The Big Benny's challenge was getting a Big Benny's vending machine back into the habs at Olisar, up the stairs, and putting it in the hab, what you couldn't get into after you left the room. So it was a whole challenge.
Scope and scale, the sense of being able to go anywhere, do anything, that is something that most game engines can't do and don't do. They're limited to more limited spaces, and we're utilizing it in Squadron.
And
to give
like,
a single player experience that sort of feels.
I imagine. Well, no, we won't have persistent hangers when we have Quantum because the Quantum's supposed to be in hopefully next year. Hopefully, seems done enough to get in next year. Anyway, eventually we won't be waking up in random HAZ. We'll be waking up in either our ship or our apartment.
You're in a huge play environment system that you traverse around, and we talked about the various types of quantum travel you're using and all the different down to for which we already enough to be because it's and fidelity and do that here. No one selects thing and that's frictional.
They're expansive. They're weekly behind the scenes. One thing I would say is that even though we are focused
One more thing. Remember probe scanning? Also went silent on probe because wrap. Yeah, also because probes are drones.
When we start to look at all these
and they've only just completed the foundation for drone work to begin.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Rich, for taking the time.
Was that the beginning of the talk? That's the ping. And grabbing lots of objects. That is crawling around the vents. Yeah, I don't know if the Bengal was ever shown here. There's the mantling bit. And then...
Getting into shit.
What can you tell us? That affects...
Oh, it didn't actually take. We have probes in you now. They're just called delivery packages. Oh, you mean the little, satellite things? The monitors.
Yeah, so
we're finally the true boss.
And we jump across line there. Yeah. Anyway.
So it. No, I'm pretty sure this is.
Yeah, so
we're finally
the true boss. And we jump across to get on the ladder there. And again, these are all the blockout animations. What was I? Someone accidentally put that in.
No, this is Shubin. No, that's Shubin. That's not the. That's Shubin. That's not the Bengal. I would say it would be the Bengal because that looks like Bengal lights and it's, nice cutting lines, except there are windows to outside.
Anyway.
But the other thing as well, yeah, I mean the other.
So. If we go speed, well, maybe not that slow. Let's go normal for now. Well, it's refineries.
The true boss.
And we jump across.
And Shubin is a giant. Well, Shubin is the company, but Archon is a giant Shubin facility for mining.
I wonder what that is. Someone accidentally put that in there. Yeah. Anyway.
But the other thing as well.
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean the other thing.
And this is also Asiato.
Up or anything, it's all.
And then this is more more and more Asiato. Lots of Asiato. And this is where they demonstrated the new quantum boost and master modes. And my favorite.
The engine in the UI that will essentially become
Since they
a
show
minimap.
it
We'll have
in
a more sort of
2020, yeah.
reduced version with
No,
more
no, I hear you.
moving around. But if we run it, you'll see kind of what the tech is. So first, this is in the editor, but it's essentially what it does is it's taking our existing layouts, levels, ships, so we don't have to build this custom, but it's a way of applying certain shaders and marking up certain objects to be displayed, like the floor gets displayed, but the walls don't.
Yeah, so there's a confirmation of what the bridge looks like.
And marking up certain objects.
Like, that's the exact layout of the Idris Bridge.
To be displayed, like the floor gets displayed, but the walls don't. So we can just take the existing geometry you already have streamed in that you're walking around already, and then use it to be rendered for our minimap. So this is essentially in the engine using the Idris ship itself and the various parts of its interior to create the minimap without any special. This doesn't have any specific custom like UI art for it, other than some of the like level things that say, ground level or whatever.
It's one of the advantages of having high detailed ships.
Yeah.
Because the environment's already in a good state to show straight out the gate.
And so the idea of this being systemic is that when the feature is ready to go, ready for prime time, we can just apply it to space station.
Yeah, because a lot of
landing
traditional
zones.
game development, you have to make custom minimaps. So you look at an environment and you go, we have to make a custom environment minimap. So if we want to support lots, tens, hundreds, and thousands of locations,
especially for the PU.
Absolutely for the PU, it's just not viable. So we wanted to come up with a solution that we can use, with minimal effort on the.
And that's really what they're doing. Like, they're not saying let's build Squadron for Squadron's sake, but they, even with like the tech, we need a minimap. Well, if we're going to want to make hundreds of locations for Star Citizen, we're going to need to have a minimap in Squadron 2 that is a dynamic minimap system. So there's something I'm confused about. Shipjacker Gang, are they in Squadron 4 too, or they only appear in Pyro? There is no one Shipjackers Gang. Shipjackers are shipjackers. They span the galaxy wide, so inevitably there are some people who like to steal ships in Squadron. Whether that be against the Navy or not, who knows? I don't even think Shipjacker is... I don't think that's a gang name? Yeah, no. The only thing I know that was Shipjacker specific was this like helmet thing. Concept art. Shipjacker armor. There's one line, or they're the ones whose line they're shipped with because it's not OMC. I don't know. I don't know on that one. I do not know what the crazy orange ships are. Which is not in this trailer. It's in this one. Yeah, these guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what those are. It's always Cutlass Black, dude. It's always Cutlass Black. And a Mustang. It's also Cutlass Black with its wings cut off. Destroy Javelin. Also heavy armor concept or a 3D model, but never seen the light. There's probably a lot of stuff that is in Squadron that we've seen stuff around, but not continued. For instance, Bengal. The Volt weapons. I thought they were waiting on like some tech or something. No. All of these are in Squadron. These are all in Squadron, and we just can't play with them because they're in Squadron, apparently. And I'm sad. Well, that's in... Talk about the blue ones. I remember this. Yes! I love these things. I cannot wait to play with these. They introduced it, yeah. Oh, your first ISC they introduced these? Oof. Yeah, apparently they're in Squadron. Also, there's the taser and the crossbow. Are they in Squadron? Nobody knows. Well, Seiji knows, I guess. Hey, there's those doors. Those doors are the same doors.
Without frustration. And
Nope, that's the thing.
Anyway.
Okay, so no, it's not the same doors. It looks like the same doors. Not quite the same doors. I'm really excited to see what we get for Squadron this CysCon. This MPUV thing should be on Mars. I mean, yeah, but they need to make them elsewhere as well. They can't only produce them on Mars. Like, you gotta have manufacturing in like every corner of the Empire. That way you can get your ships to where they need to be in a not 1 month time span. Imagine if Earth is finished. I can't take that much. Because they said they like want to do Earth last, so it will be the most impressive. And like I agree with them. Like that's totally valid that they want their tech to be the most mature when they do Earth. So the highest quality, the most diversity, and the most planned out. Least bugs in the terrain and the tools. However, unfortunately, that is all for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll probably be playing some PTU tomorrow. And then we got, what do we have after that? Do I still have a phone? I do still have a phone. I do believe we will be streaming more this week. Go. We got tomorrow playing some Star Citizen, and we got Friday more Star Citizen. We might do some news updates or whatnot, because Wednesday we also get the Robot Roundup and the monthly report. So I'll probably be going through that on Friday. And then, of course, we're back here on Sunday at 8 p.m. EST for our podcast, the Star Citizen or the Content Creators Roundtable. We'll be having a Hoban from our org, Space Tomato, and hopefully, well, we will have someone else. I just haven't confirmed who that one else is yet. So tune in then. I'll be back, as I said, tomorrow. So thank you all for coming, and I'll see you all later. As always, be kind. Bye, everyone.